Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Frostpunk the game. So welcome to a new series here that we're going to start here with a little bit of recorded content here from Frostpunk on this particular save. I'm going to try to keep a couple going. One is more like a research save where I'm trying to figure out the best way to do some things. And there's really no best way. There's just really one thing you really got to keep up, but there are multiple ways to get to that. So we're going to kind of look at a few of those, so bear with me on that. Other than that, if you like this kind of stuff, if you like these sim builders, you've never seen me play these, I usually play driving sims or, like ATS, ETS, racing sims, even I was up the farm sim. We're going to start some of that. So we just got a lot of stuff on the channel. It's a variety channel. So, I hope if you like builders and you want to see more of this, come on, subscribe here to the channel. We're going to be putting some more Frostpunk gameplay out as well. And also, you guys are welcome in any of our live streams here nightly. We do a wide array of things that we live stream, but it's always fun. It's a great chat. It's always a fun time to hang out and meet some of you guys that keep up with the channel here and want to see what's going on. So appreciate all that support as well. So I'm going to go ahead and move myself off the screen, but before we go, just wanted to kind of set up here. There is multiple ways to get to this. So if you're watching this commenting or you've gone, I'm appreciative of the comments. We had a couple guys in the live stream who really helped me out a couple days ago, just trying to get started on some other things that they had started first, and I was like, dang, why didn't I think of that? It's a great idea. So if you got substantive comments and stuff, please leave them down there. I'll pin them, especially if I do something wrong or I screw something up. There's no need for the troll comment. Just let me know and I will pin it to the top and make it happen, because I want people to have good information coming out on this game, because one wrong move at the wrong time of the game will send you crawling up the wall and vanished. It happened to me. I was like, oh my god, why did I research the wrong thing? And then all of a sudden they come back and I was like, well, I guess we'll start over, or we'll go back to that save. So here's one piece of advice that I learned pretty quick. Don't get yourself caught in this idea that you'll save the game every 5 minutes. Don't do it, because give yourself enough gameplay that you can save, because it has an auto-save feature, but you also have like an actual save game. So in case your auto-save goes too late and you say you got like a 2-hour session on this game, and then you're like, oh yeah, well sure, we'll just go ahead and save here, and then we'll save again in 10 minutes. And you make the wrong move and you can't go back, then it's going to send you crawling up the wall and vanished, because that happened to me too. So give your saves until you're done playing, then save it if you're happy with your progress. So with that, I'm going to move myself off the screen here, and then let's go ahead and get into some Frostpunk gameplay. Now, as we're starting out here, this is back to the beginning, so everyone's got time, everything's got stuff. We're going to go ahead and keep normal speed, so everybody's rolling now. So there's a couple things. We've got resources. There you go, workforce, resource, bottom right there, 65 of 80. So it tells you how many prohibited, which are children. That's 15 of those, 15 engineers and 50 workers. So they'll be doing our gathering and stuff. So at first we're going to gather some raw materials up, some coal. We're going to stockpile coal, so we'll go ahead and send workers out on all of our coal climb. Now, you will have opportunity as well once we get going to build coal mines, to do those kinds of things. So let's go ahead right now. Let's go ahead and send those guys out. And let's go ahead and send those guys out. Go ahead and get as much of your coal in stockpiled, so that way you can focus on a few other things, buildings inside the city, especially once free time comes into play. You'll kind of see these as we come in. So we gotta send these guys as well. Let's go and get that coal pile going, and let's go ahead and just shuck that one. So now we've got 5 left. That's fine. Let's get all these guys going out. And once we get, so there's, I'm interested to see from other players. On the bottom left, there's a, fight the cold. It's kind of your things that you are starting to do, things you are starting to, getting like little goals in mind here. Some of these will be when you sign new laws. They have a certain amount of things that need to happen with that. Now with fight the cold, it's to stockpile some gold. It's giving me 130, 140 of 200, so we'll do that. Then we'll activate the generator at 200, and that'll start the heat. Things will start to dethaw a little bit, and we'll be there. So I think the first thing that I made the mistake of is, after we got shelter built for most of our people, the one thing that I did not do was I did not start steel coal operation inside of a plant, and I wish I had. So we're going to try to get to that beacon point to where we can send some people out, and then we'll get some type of an industry started. I think that'll be the first thing. So here we go. So there is our coal in. So here's our generator. Now, generator provides heat. It also provides a few other things, energy sources for automatons, which are these big, huge robots that will do things of workforces. There's an automated workforce. They're actually absolutely awesome. But anyways, it serves as the recharge point for those. So you have different steam levels, and also all these steam levels also provide heat to a wider array of places. Plus, you can research heat cores, those kinds of things, and have smaller bits of pieces all out and around. So also has consumption as to whether or not you're in the green, the red, the white. At some point you'll use more than you're actually getting in, and then at some points when you get the perfect amount, you'll be able to get enough coal, and then you'll be using the same amount, so your coal production never goes down, the coal number never goes down. So it's pretty cool. And you have auto drive as well in range settings, so you can mess with these. Once you research enough into those, you can make those happen. So let's go ahead, let's turn it up. There we go. So now we have, there we go, food. So now food that we in the city starts to provide a way for raw food to build a cookhouse and prepare meals. So down here, our construction tab, now we have a new listing of things to do here. Now this thing will stack up pretty fast, so you do have to be somewhat mindful of what will happen quick. So let's go ahead, let's start on some food here. So let's go ahead and get a cookhouse. Now these things always have to be around the center, so everything's a circular build, which is kind of, I won't say it's odd, but it is different. A lot of the city builders and stuff do not feature certain things in that way. They kind of change things up just a little bit. Let's say Hunter's Hut 2. Let's go and get that going. Now we're gonna have to get some. Okay, we're gonna have to get some wood. So we'll have to pull those in later. So here we go. So here's workers needed. So there's children. So do we put the children that they can work in things like the cookhouse and all that stuff? So let's look at it. Book of Laws. This is more or less for the Book of Laws and how this works and how this tree of new things to research is. So all of these different laws are things that can kind of come in as the game progresses. So you will have an option to be able to sign these laws. Now each one, depending on how you go, especially like child labor. Child labor has a couple of different ones. The thing is to look down here at the bottom, whether or not you're child shelter, whether or not you're dealing with hope, or whether or not you're just dealing with working. You'll see that hope will fall. Child workers become injured in accidents, which is never a good thing. I've been there. It's not fun to see that little thing come up. I've got two of my own. So the children can work in safe workplaces. They still can get hurt. Or you can build a child shelter and hope will rise. But the only thing is that you'll have to build it. But it's also cool because the one thing that this one does, and I will build a child shelter. I'm not going to make them work, because providing all children with a place in the shelter gives a permanent hope bonus. Permanent. Anything that gives you hope, take it. That is where it happens. That is where it happens. So we're going to build a child shelter here once we get going. Now see, hope went up extraordinarily there. Now you'll have a few people that get mad because children can do some things. Don't worry about it. Don't stress. Let's provide some shelter. So now we've got two different options. This is the other cool part. Any kind of sim like this, it builds lots of different new ways to kind of get the same effect. But you've got certain levels at which you want to obtain some of this stuff. So do you want to go all out? Go out and provide shelter for everyone. That's for 80 people. Now, once you get shelter into everybody, that's a lot of houses. These houses only hold like 10 people. So providing some shelter for 40 is a good start. And then if you get that other, you can work on getting the homeless numbers down. But let's just provide some shelter for right now. So now we've got 4 things that we got to do. So let's go ahead and let's see, they're building the cookhouse. A couple things we're going to need is going to be this stuff. So let's go ahead. I'm going to fast forward out of this because there's really nothing. There's nothing that I can do. Alright, so Captain facing demands, remember this, that people usually look for the quick solution, not the best one. You don't have to agree on everything they ask for, you just fix the problem your way, it's fine. So there you go. So that's the main object. You don't have to do everything, but you know, some of the stuff, it does help. And they realize that. Alright, so they're now in free time. Now free time will last till like 2400, which will be midnight, and then they all go to bed until 6. They have 2 hours of free time, and then they come back up at 8 o'clock to get ready for their work day. So I don't have, you know, I do have, actually, you know what I do? I think. I do have enough for one house. So we've actually got a pretty good amount of food stockpiled here. So I am just going to start here, I guess, and build this half row of houses here. Now we have to build 4, because that is that. So we're going to at least be able to build 1, and then once these workers get on to the next day, we're going to go ahead and ship them off to the next wood pile. So let's look at, I'm going to look at this one. I'm going to pull these guys down, and then I'm going to ship them all over to there. So let's put Cookhouse there. Perfect. Now you can also at some point force these guys into like a, you know, 24/7 force. It's kind of funny. All right, let's free time. Let's speed this up till 6 because nothing's going to happen right now. We can't build anything because we need that wood. Go ahead and keep. I'm gonna keep it going. All right, so everyone's going back out. So we got 15 there on that coal pile. We should only.
Work time. Get moving.
All right, so we've got 1 on those. Now I am going to go ahead and pull those guys off, and I'm going to find the next closest wood pile, and let's throw them there. Now a couple things I'm going to do differently on this is I am going to go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and start researching once we get to this point. We'll go ahead and start researching some other stuff, getting into coal production early. Once we're able to get into that, then I think we'll be in a much better position. We'll just have to see how these things run. I love watching the animations, guys. It's so cool watching everybody work. I can't wait till the city's huge and we're like, yeah, this is awesome. I build fire. So we'll go ahead and add us another one in. And while we're waiting for the wood to come back up. And you see here, base heating level is 1. So it does not have any kind of real heat. It will keep it up 1 small level. So then we come up to 10 wood, we'll build us another shelter here. Now the raw food is making rations for everyone to have. So at some point here, I want to get shelter put in. Let's get the we'll get the hot house in next. That'll be under food. And the hunter's hut needs 20 wood, so we'll wait on this 7 more wood to come in here, and then we'll go ahead and put our hot house. I mean, not our hot house, our hunter's hut up. That way we can have them be bringing back rations of food, which you'll figure out the rations of food go so fast. So fast. Book of Laws. Okay, so here's a couple things that we can do. Now, until we have our first, you know, there's a couple different wings of this. Child labor, cemetery stuff, death, how you're going to deal with corpses, bodies, those kinds of things. And then how you're going to deal with medical treatment. If you're going to just kill off the people that have amputations, or if they have disease or illnesses, or if you're going to sustain life, which means, you know, hey, we're going to cut your arm off, but you'll still be just a person that eats. So that's the thing. It's not necessarily, it's all about survival. So, you know, keep that in mind as you move through these books of laws in this game. Pick a certain direction and go with it. Don't just go with your gut on it. Just saving people is fine. So you may have to trade off some bad stuff to help with good stuff. You may have to trade off the good stuff to really kind of take care of bad stuff. So all these are the same way. It's food. Then you've got the fighting, which you'll have kind of more of a, well, I would call this my anger management wing. This is where a lot of times you can get the hope will rise a little bit because they get the frustrations out, whether it's fighting. You've got a public house as well, a dueling law. So, you know, I mean, like, this is serious stuff on this side. Now, the work side, you've got extended shifts, emergency shifts. So you've got work, you've got child labor, you've you've got dealing with death, dealing with the medical stuff, dealing with the food, and dealing with your anger and discontent from the actual people. So let's see what we got. There's 20. Let's go ahead. Let's get this hunter's hut going. I'm going to stick it up. Sure, I'll stick it up right beside. Now, eventually, at some point, we're probably going to go ahead and research hunting and gathering. You see, as we get this stuff up here, you know, where discontent falls, our hope goes up a little bit, which is great. I've got to keep the hope up. So, secure food is going to go up here really soon once that gets built, which it'll get built when everyone comes in from the day. And we've got enough for another house. And let's go ahead and I guess at some point, let's build that other fourth house. Almost there. You see now that we're out of raw food, so we've got 175 on the food rations there. And building child shelter and providing shelter for peeps. So we got 3 down now, and let's go ahead. Let's get 4 in. Sweet. And what else we got here in our resources? Tech, food, health. Oh, child shelter. Okay, 5 steel. You got 5 steel and 20 wood. So we've got 10 steel, and we should be up there by then. So here's my thing. Each one of these you can see has a nice little. So this is how many are left. So 6 an hour. So 6 game hour. They're pulling out 6, you know, well, trees, but 6 lumber, wood, whatever. The biggest thing about that is make sure you kind of keep up with your numbers so you can send those workers to the next place. Now, eventually sickness will take over. These guys will look at, you know, have sickness in that workforce. So you might have like 12 to 15 workers. You may have to make sure those other ones are taken care of. You have some medical post, which we'll have to build here pretty soon. All right, so workplace is chilly. Now you can't put heater cores out there. You know, I don't really know if that didn't really work that well. At least I didn't feel like it did in the preview. We'll have to see how the game. There is a lot of difference. I feel like the game is much tougher than the preview was. Maybe that's on purpose. I don't know. I just feel like it's a lot harder. So coal, we have completely like really upped coal production. I'm really happy with that. Way to go, guys.
Rest, folks. Works out today.
Works out today. All right, well, here we go. All right, so I think what we're going to do here, we should be looking at this. So coal is good. So here's the thing you want to do. They're building these houses, the huts now. So this will go ahead and this is going to be nice. This is already going better than it was before. I'm going to pull some guys off of these coal reserves because we've already got quite a bit here. We've got about 5 days of coal, which is awesome because now we can go ahead and run on a few other things. So just going to make sure that I pull them all off of this. Let's see. So no coal piles. So we've got this one here. And wood crates is 15 there. And wood crates are 15 there. And coal pile. Okay, perfect. So now we could go back if we wanted to. We could do 1 day of steel. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 1 day of steel. It's going to be 4 game hours. So once the game starts in, we're going to do that. So this is where I want to get to for this episode. This kind of gets you through the initial part of the game. We'll kind of talk through some things, which has been great. So now basic resources secured, which is we've done a pretty good job on that. Coal is great. We need to up the wood because that's where you really start placing buildings and really building a lot of stuff. Start researching different facilities and different stuff to have inside of the game, which is great. So now that we've rescued the people left behind, build a beacon, scout the Frostland, and save as many survivors from our expeditions as possible. You need a workshop to design plans, research for more advanced buildings. That is our research facility, so that's going to be good. So there's a workshop, build the beacon, rescue survivors from the lost expedition. Now, let me pause this just for, right, if it'll let me out. Oh, it won't let me out yet. It'll let me out when we do the beacon, I guess. All right, Yes, shelter promise fulfilled. So you'll see the hope goes up. For whatever reason, discontent, it looks like it goes up, but it actually pulls up this little white bar and then it recesses back into it, which I'm not sure. It's still at the same level. Okay, whatever. So let's put 15 workers here in the hunter's hut. Now it's going to be 15 raw rations a day. So that gives you an idea. Now, if you look at 15 raw rations, this one, I don't know if it'll tell you, provide 4 from every 2 raw. So it's time to do some math. 15 a day there, and this one does. So you can kind of see how when it comes into doing a standard meal versus standard rations, all these kinds of, there's different ways to split this up as well. So your food is important to know that these hunters only go out and work and hunt through the night, and then they bring food back the next morning, go out and hunt and gather. There are some other food options. I would say food, not necessarily the most. I don't want to be careful about this and say it's not the most important, but don't put food above heat, work, and consumption of your materials. That's the biggest thing that got me in trouble a couple times, was focusing too much in one area and not getting out and really being able to kind of manage them all respectively together. That's the challenge. So let's see, we're at 50 wood. The coal is absolutely fantastic. Let's see if we can go ahead right quick. Resource tech workshop. So 5 steel and some wood here. So I'm gonna go ahead. And let's do this one. Let's do this one. Oops, not that. So let's build a road, and I'm gonna build one. So look at these guys building a street here. They'll build that in their free time once they wake up. So let's go ahead. Let's fast forward. Let's get it back up into 6. I want to get some of this stuff done before the big frost sets in. Alright, so now they're clearing this road. So I'm going to let them clear the road there in free time. Roads and street building usually gets done, from what I can tell, gets done in their free time. Or if you have extra workers that may be available outside of the normal workday. So we got 15 workers on crate pile or steel pile. Okay, so we got steel wreckage there is 15. We've got 15 there. Any other ones anywhere else? I don't think so. Wood crates, coal. No. Alright, so I'm gonna put this research facility tuck it right in behind here.
Work time. Get moving.
Alright, so there's that. So there was that. Then the beacon comes in after that. We'll just put the beacon on further down this road, because we do have iron ore deposit, which will be steelworks. So we're going to build a road to that. So we'll put the beacon, and let's just go ahead. I may just go ahead and put out another road, another wing somewhere else. Eventually, these roads will all lead to different places, but I'm going to go ahead and just for right now, let's put it out to here. So there's that street. So that we'll start to get our branches out. Now we may have to demolish some of this to kind of fit some of our other buildings in there. It's okay. Still about 40 homeless, so we'll get some new houses and stuff built in here as well. We'll also have bunk houses that we'll get into, but I don't want to get too deep down the rabbit hole yet. All right, and the other thing that needs to happen is the child shelter. That needs to happen ASAP. Put that right there. I'll tell you what, let's wait. Yeah, let's wait if we can. So, all right, so now we're kind of waiting. So let's go ahead while they're doing that. I'm going to send some workers out to one of the other ones. They're getting steel in. There's that. So we'll look for wood crates. So we got these right here. Maybe we do have them on every one. All right, no, No employees available. We got Charlie and Larry going over to build. All right, let's speed things up. Let's get these resources coming in. All right, so there comes everyone. All right, now they're putting in the road during their last minutes of work time there.
End of shift.
Okay. So this is, you know, 10 for 20. So one day to do this. So yeah, it does get cold, and every time you get ready to do one of these bigger operations here, you see this temperature will drop by 2 levels. That means now it's going to go down to -20, or actually it may be -40. It's ridiculously cold. So just kind of keep that in mind. So let's do a few things here. We got that doing. We've got this road in, so let's put our child shelter in. We've got plenty of wood, so let's go ahead. Let's get these tents built in for the other 2. All right, so there's that. And we'll always can manage these houses and move them around, demolish them, put them up somewhere else, but this will kind of get us into a good place here. The child shelters being that we've got provide shelter for 20, so we'll get hope on that. We'll get hope on the child shelter, lots on that, and as well as we'll get ready to build the beacon. So with that, let's go ahead. Let's speed things up. Child care for hope rises. Absolutely fantastic. That's what we want. All right, so we're waiting on the cookhouse to get some food from the hunters. They'll get that in the morning. All right, so now here's one thing that you can do. What we'll probably do is, there's different things to do, and I actually did this and really didn't pay attention. So this is kind of your first thing here. The big one in the workshop is adding new research. So your technology tree, depending on what it is, this is kind of what you want to look at, is your different tiers, different levels, resources, exploration, industry, all of these heating on, all of these different research trees give you what allows you to have this huge city down here. So food, health, and shelter, whether or not it's hunter's gear, that tree's down to other things. So call this your research tree, or technology tree. It's right there, buddy. These are all your resources: sawmills, steelworks, coal mining, faster gathering, all of those kinds of things. Now, heating, food, health, and shelter, bunkhouse or houses was right here in this one. So we're going to have to research. We're going to have to research some stuff here once they get in. So let's get some engineers off of one of the other places. Let's find. Yeah. Nope, that's worked. Engineers. Well.
Bundle up. It's getting colder.
And now the big freeze comes in. Desperately trying to find all of my engineers. Oh, they're there. Good grief. All right, 5 there. All right, cool. So now this is going in. Now they're going to research this one tree here. So drawing boards, bunkhouses, hothouse, medical post, and then I'm going to have them go ahead and start on the beacon. That's the next one. But if we want to try to do this, we have a time limit here. So build the workshop, people from Gombo. So that one is not timed. This one here is timed. So if you want to do these kinds of things, make sure that you time them right and get them done. So that's at least 8 hours at 100% research rate. So they're going to go ahead and start researching that, which is fine. So I'm actually going to go ahead and speed things up to get that done, if we can. Convoy, yada yada yada. It was the right thing to do. Hope will rise slightly. Of course the child shelter was a great thing to do. Of course it was. probably gonna miss on the bunkhouses. All right, we're gonna send to that steel. Coal pile, wood crates. Send to that one. Go ahead and get them going. Go ahead and get these last couple of work days. Get them. So we're going to miss the provided shelter. So even if we do, let's add in bunkhouse. Let's see, it's still going to require 8 hours. So we're going to miss that, but we're going to have bunkhouses. So you'll see that hope will fall, discontent will come back down, respectively.
Finish your labors.
Yeah, so we didn't do it. So we'll open. All right, so now we got 3 days to put in a medical post of some sort. And I promise that, so I have 3 days to admit 1/3 of the sick to treatment. I have that, or it just won't address it right now. You know, so no, I'm not going to put a sick bed in there. But it's a way too that if you don't know. But I am going to open a medical post because we've got plenty of building materials to do it. So that comes in as well as an obtainable thing. So yeah, there you go. So hope falls, discontent rises, and it will rise enormously if you don't do this. As you can see, it really almost completely even those back up, which is insane. So, like, oh my god. So I'm actually going to abort this, unfortunately, because we're going to go back and build the beacon, because that's my next one on the list. We can always build a medical post. That's not a big deal. We can always build that one in next. So researching is that, so 7 hours of game time, so that's good at the night. Now they will stop at some point. Now you can put them in overdrive if you sign that law, but we have not signed that law yet. Alright, so we've got food rations are coming down. Hunters just cannot keep up with these guys, which I kind of figured they would not be able to. Making sure to keep track of all of my peeps running around here. Alright, so we're going to throw another hut here to get that going. And we got lots of steel. We need some more wood. So probably the next thing that needs to go in is probably Sawmill. I don't know if I may do. We got plenty of coal. I feel like wood crates here. We'll put 5 guys on that. 5 guys in a burger, maybe. So we got 3. So let's go ahead and look at medical outpost. So that is okay. Too cold? Yeah. We're gonna have to. We'll have to manage that once we get the upgrade on this, which is something I've learned a little bit later on in. It's not a big deal, and part of it too is because the temperature overlay here is we're in the -40 below. Normally it's about 4 degrees under. So yeah, it'll eventually get a little better. All right, let's go ahead. Let's speed things up because I really, at this point, cannot do anything. So we got people getting sick. Always get sick when it gets cold. Always, always, always. One of the people died. Now we got to build a cemetery. All right.
New law. A new law has passed.
Yeah, so then they like that. They like the fact that they can be doing that. So temporary is a promise broken, citizen needs. So discontent follows off of things and supplies that they need. That's food, it's healthcare, home, coldness, those kinds of things. Anytime it gets in this cold, you always shed some people, and then you'll always use up more resources, whether you overdrive, pump, all those kinds of things. So, yeah. Alright, so let's, come on, where are we at? Free time, let's go in. This thing keeps,
Work time. Get back to work.
If people are going to die, this is going to happen. What I'm trying to do is go ahead and let's fast forward. Let's get these guys moving around. The hunters came in and literally brought nothing. It's ridiculous. I'm going to go ahead and fold these back out. There's nothing I can do. But I'll see on this. I'll sign that later. Because, excuse me. That's the one thing that I want to do a little bit, not more research, but I want to do a little more thought in that. I don't want to waste time on the video. So here we are, almost got this building, the beacon up. There we go. Beacon's research, so let's go ahead, let's get this started. Now, here is the other one. So heating wise, you know, depending on what you decide to go with first, I think at some point the industry stuff is going to be more important. At least for me, I feel like it is. Maybe that's just me. I'm actually going to start with the sawmill because I don't see many wood crates. So they just got done with the beacon, so I'm going to go and put the sawmill in. I do not have a lot of wood crates on the start of this map. I feel like I've got tons of coal, but not a lot of wood crates. And these things deplete so fast. So alright. So now that's done. Building the beacon. Let's go ahead and do that right quick. Oops. Let's go over to tech. And I am, whoops, oh, good grief. There we go. Construction, then tech, then beacon. So now this is where you've got steelwork's gonna be done up here. Now, I guess this is where it all depends on how you want to do this and where you want to see most of yours. You've got sawmill stuff up there. Now, word to the wise, you wouldn't really need to get all this steel out before you build a sawmill up in here because you don't want to destroy your resources that you have already in place to put those. Now, we'll kind of see that in future videos here. So I'm going to try to keep this out of the way of other things. So I'm going to put this right here and nestle it right there. We should be good to go on that. So build the beacon, and then we'll send everyone out in their last hoorah to find survivors for the expedition. And then let's see, we've got plenty of resources here to go ahead and get cemetery added in. There we go. So medical post in. Burials, that'll be good to go. Technology, sawmills at 31%. So the sick, 9 Gravely, 17.6. So that medical post is going to take care of them whenever it is built up. And then let's go ahead and let's put some people in
it. Gather your tools. The shift is ending.
All right, 5 engineers take care of that sick. Hut. So we need workers in that. So now you'll see this is a perfect example to kind of displace this. So 2 days for 8, sure. Okay, so here's the other thing about this, and I think this is where I'm going to close down for today, and then we'll bring it back right at this point here. So here's the thing about this. Now that we've got this map is starting to look like an actual city and not just a generator sticking up out of the crater. So what we're looking at now is we're at a shortage of workers. We've got 77 people in here. A couple of them have died just from frostbite and other things, which is always going to happen when it gets cold like this. So unless you just don't work them at all. So the one thing is to divvy up your workers. Now, raw food, the cookhouse is a way to go and get some people out of that to put them elsewhere. But it may mean that you need to sacrifice gathering for 15 workers to put them in something like your post. So now this is why it's important to really go after the beacon first, get that done, because what you do is you go and you pull other people from different areas. Now we can't see it yet, but this map expands. Then you can see about 4 or 5 different other areas that you can go research and go send an envoy of your scouts out to go scout the area and see if there are other survivors or other people going on. So with that being said, after they do that, they'll bring back resources, they'll bring back people, they'll bring back things that you're going to need to kind of help give you the boost at the right time. So always be sending the scouts out, always be researching something new, and always try your best to keep the workers going in some shape or form or facility. Keep them managed. You don't have to necessarily go after one particular thing, but if you've got 30 workers and they're both on coal piles and you need 15 to go to the hunter's hut, go ahead and pull one off of one of those piles and put them in the hut. That kind of thing. That's the management, and that's what's hard about this game. I've played other games where it's not that big of a deal, but for whatever reason I feel like it kind of is at times with this one. There's just a lot going on. So I'm going to pull wood crates. I'm actually going to pull all my workers off of everything, just so I can see. So they're all building stuff now. I want to make sure that I pulled them off everything so I can kind of start fresh and then get these things inside done. So I'm going to kick this into overdrive. And we're researching here, so this is the one thing here. We're going to have to get out of this research facility, because once we can extend the range of this, then all of these buildings that I placed out here will get all of the warm and love they need. Beacon built. There you go. Here we go. Wonderful. Now here's our map. So now we got lost expedition crash sites that we can go explore, but we need scouts. So let's go over to the beacon that was recently built. Cemeteries established. Hope rises. That's great. We got this. Create a new scout team. Not enough wood, so we need to get some more wood in here, which is not a big deal. That in itself we can deal with. I kind of want to make it through because weather is about to change. There we go. There you go. Ready to search, sorry. Some volunteers have lined up, eager to go looking for our lost people in Frostland. The woman who came forward earlier is among them, so we needed a win. So yay! Woo! Book of Laws. Here we go. So adaptation. So now we can move out of these and do what we want. So whether or not see child shelters, or this is what's cool about this, or we can put them into apprentices into the medic, or we can put them in apprenticeships into the engineers. I am not going to sign either one of those for right now. The other thing that you can consider is the emergency shift. That they'll work and they'll research and everything for 24 hours. Right now, I'm not too worried. See, our food, this is the part that really frustrates me about this game. Even with 200 huts, I can't assign. So I got 15 workers on that. Shelter promise fulfilled. That was great. Hope went up. Then this hunter hut, all these hunters, now we've got 30 hunters going out trying to gather food enough for these people that are just eating like I don't even know what. They are just scarfing the food down faster than I can gather it. So these will be the give and takes that you have. So rescuing people from the shelters, we don't have enough wood, that's right. So let's go ahead and let's make sure the sawmill is about 40%. So wood crates, we got 4 workers. That's what I mean. We got 4 workers and still got people in here that don't have enough, no employees. So we'll have to pull some workers out of some of these other things so that we can get them going on this. All right, let's fast forward up. Keep losing people, and partially some of that. So this is one of those things. This will be the last law that we'll look at today. Opening the book of laws here, radical treatment law. Gravely ill will be treated in a medical post, but they may undergo risky amputations. Alternatively, you can sign a sustained life law, which keeps them alive until we build an infirmary. Now, these are two things that you'll have to research. Infirmary is pretty far down the list right now, so this could be this is one of those deals here. So this is a give and take law. I still am. Some other ones have struggled with this one to figure out if there's one that really services it better. But right now, the gravely ill will be treated in a medical post. Hope will rise slightly. 30% of the gravely ill treated in a medical post will be left as amputees. Discontent will rise. So you're going to get, hope's going to get a rise, and discontent's going to get a rise. The other one here, the gravely ill becomes alive, but untreated in a medical post. Hope will rise slightly. So here's the thing. So the gravely ill will not be treated to remain a burden. The gravely ill will also take up beds in your medical post, which means if they're in there as gravely ill patients, then they're not going to be allowed to, you're not going to be allowed to bring other people in, and as well as gravely ill will be kept alive but untreated. So I'm going to go right now for radical treatment. I don't know that that's the right one. I've done the other one. I'm going to go for radical treatment just right now. We can sign a sustained law later on. Well, no, actually, we'll have to pick one of these two. For right now, I'm not going to pick it. Just for right now, I'm going to kind of pull a mulligan on that and a pass, and we'll see what happens. All right, so our beacon's built. We've got, there we go, healthcare promise fulfilled. Hope rises, nice. So there you go. So they are now, the discontent's going down. So that is a perfect, and there we go. We've got a little bit of a melt coming in. So now we're at 20. So a lot of, you'll see some of the snow on some of these buildings and the pits and stuff will get a little bit less, which is pretty cool. I like those animations of how that stuff flows and works. So it's great. I'm going to pull the overdrive back. See our generator stress level. I'm going to pull that stress level back. And now everyone's going back off to work here, so now we can continue to hopefully have everything going. So we've got workers going to the steel. I'm going to pull them off the steel for right now. Let's put them on the workers right here on the wood crates. Let's get that rocking and rolling. Until the sawmill is built, we can start to research other stuff. We'll get the beacon guys sent and everything. So that brings me to the close of this first introduction here to Frostbite. Frostbite, oh my god. Frostpunk. I can't believe I said that. That's hilarious. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe here. Don't forget to keep up with this great title. I hope that I give some decent information. Notice that this is not a one-by-one step guide. This is more of a general, observations of what I've been able to see. So I'm playing ahead of this, way ahead of this, to try to figure out the best way to do this so that when I come back on the secondary save and kind of put all of that knowledge to good use. I hope that I can pass on good knowledge, and I hope I don't kind of screw myself over when it comes to putting this whole entire thing, videos up online here. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Come and join me here in a Frostpunk live stream or anything else that we're doing. We're also going to be giving some free copies of this away. So this is actually the 26th here of April. So if you're interested in a free copy of this game, we're going to have some to be given away here over the next week or so. So that's exciting. We've had some generous support here from our sponsors that have come in and said, hey, we want to help. And I've said, absolutely, that's absolutely fantastic. So anyway, keep that on your radar. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that like button as well. Let's see if we can't make this go up to the top of the ranks there on YouTube. And also, just remember, guys, I appreciate all the support you guys and all the viewers and everything else that come in and hang out with me nightly. As our sawmill is researched, we are going to go ahead and place that here. We've only can place that so many places, but I am excited. So let's go ahead. We're going to have to build a road. Well, you know what? I tell you what, we're just going to wait on this, and we're going to, because we can't do that and destroy the resources. So we'll get all this steel out. Let's do that, and let's plan on doing that for our next video. We'll get our sawmill in. That means our wood production goes up through the roof. Then we can start working on some other stuff. So it's all a good day here with F2G. So appreciate it, guys. We'll see you here all in the next video.